Hello, my name is David Lance. Recently, Dran Reese, president of the Salt and Light Council, was kind enough to invite me to share some information about a course I've created called Run Like Lincoln, The Art of Grassroots Politics. A video-based series of lessons with accompanying downloadable documents, the course is divided into 5 modules. As a sampling of this toolkit, which she intends to include in the Biblical Voter section of her website, Dran asked me to provide several sample lesson videos for your review from the course module called Get Out the Vote. This video is from Lesson 6 of my Get Out the Vote module. To explore Run Like Lincoln, The Art of Grassroots Politics, simply visit tinyurl.com/grassrootspolitics. Thanks so much, and God bless. Well, welcome back to Lesson 6 in the module Get Out the Vote. In this 6th lesson, we'll look at the 30-day countdown until Election Day. Security against defeat implies defensive tactics. Ability to defeat the enemy means taking the offensive. Standing on the defensive indicates insufficient strength. Attacking a superabundance of strength. From Sun Tzu, The Art of War, as edited by James Clobell, Dell Publishing, 1983. In this lesson, we will consider the checklist of things your campaign needs to do to maximize votes for your candidate or ballot issue. Even if you don't have a lot of money compared to your opponent, if you can mobilize an army of grassroots supporters, you can gain momentum going into the last days of the election. These last 30 days is when you bring all the pieces together. One of the things to consider is that we need to work smart and target precincts via face-to-face and internet networks. In the last 30 days, we need to know, for example, who will take yard signs, who will write letters to the weekly township newspapers, who will do social media, and who can provide rides to the polls. We also need to figure out who can hand out literature at selected polls on Election Day. At this stage, each component of the campaign needs to be ready to go. Social media should have a daily campaign theme. Campaign staff schedules candidates for various public events. Additionally, precinct captains should do literature and campaign sign door-to-door distribution. Telephone teams need to call back all likely saints and savable voters. And our fundraising chairman needs to use the momentum of the Get Out the Vote push to raise more money for media campaigns in the last 30 days. So, let's look at each one of these topics. First of all, think of social media. Think of the campaign message you created for John Doe, who is running to do X, Y, and Z. Along the way, a series of short statements on key issues should have been created. And so, for the next 30 days, you'll want to choose a theme of the day, X, Y, or Z. An issue from each of the key set of issues that we want to look at and highlight. Then we want to tie those particular issues back to the campaign theme and message. You'll want to post an article and or videos on all social media platforms to coincide with the selected message of the day. Through this, you'll then generate buzz and encourage your social media team to like, retweet, and share these posts. Be sure to invite people to go to campaign events and to the campaign website. Make sure the candidate is visible and seen to be fighting for the main issues of the campaign. Take pictures and share on social media. Prepare press releases to be sent to the local news media, and invite reporters or bloggers to accompany the candidate. You want to go where the voters are, so be sure to speak with and thank the volunteers. Have a key person, such as a volunteer or staff person, on site to prepare the location prior to when the candidate arrives. You want to see your event checklist and be sure to have someone execute all the to-do items on that list. You want to also then focus on your targeted precincts. Start with the volunteers you identified to deliver yard signs in a sign blitz. Do this quickly to demonstrate your grassroots muscle. Be sure to pay attention to the rules in terms of campaigning in your local area, because most states have various ordinances with regard to when you're allowed to put campaign signs out X number of days before the election. You want to take pictures and share these on social media. Then you want to be sure that you go door to door with your candidate partners. Several campaigns for different offices in overlapping districts that have an affinity for each other might consider passing out each other's literature. You want to load the county canvas data into a smartphone so you can create Google Maps so you know precisely where your voters are, so you can be sure to knock on their doors as you're in their neighborhoods. Be sure to knock on doors of those you have identified as savables as well as saints. And then be sure to have prepared door hangers and brief information handouts. Be sure to follow whatever the election disclaimer laws are in your state. Another thing that you want to be sure you do is to call your list and ask them to vote for your candidate. Remember, these are people that you believe are familiar with your candidate, probably people that you hopefully identified during the county canvass phase a few months prior to the election. Here's an example of a call script you might use. Hello, my name is David Lance, and I'm calling on behalf of the John Smith campaign. Have you heard about John Smith or had a chance to meet him? If the person says yes, then you might follow up and say, well, what did you think of him? Have you visited his campaign website and Facebook page? Are there any questions that you might have? And then here's the key question. Can we expect your support in the election on Election Day? If they say yes, you might consider following up and ask them if they would be willing to be active in the campaign by, say, placing a sign in their yard, manning phones, and or walking door to door on behalf of the campaign. Even if they say no, be sure to thank them for their time and the call, but politely invite them to go to the campaign website. Now, with regard to your professional staff and or vendors, someone should have created fully developed campaign video, YouTube video clips, radio and advertisements, things of that nature. Even if you're on a tight budget, consider at a minimum creating some YouTube videos that you can have disseminated through social media. In the last 30 days, these advertisements need to be introduced into the campaign. Think of air support that lays down shock and awe in advance of the grassroots ground troops doing what we have described. Donors want to see proof that you have a plan to win the election. They want to see that your grassroots campaign is in action and is working hard. Now, the money people can then help launch the air campaign. You want to share examples from social media to showcase this grassroots campaign. And then on Election Day, be sure that the campaign signs are put out at a polling place. Be sure volunteers will be there to hand out simple candidate flyers. And be sure you have people who can give rides to people who need to get out to the polls. And finally, be sure that you have people who will call your saints to confirm that they will vote for your candidate. We'd like to suggest that at this point you stop the video and discuss the 5 components of the Get Out the Vote action plan for the last 30 days of the campaign. Review the call scripts and event planning checklist templates that we've provided and make adjustments as needed. And then, of course, discuss with others involved in the campaign who is responsible for what. Thanks for watching this preview of my course, Run Like Lincoln, The Art of Grassroots Politics. To explore the entire course, simply visit tinyurl.com/grassrootspolitics. Thanks so much, and God bless.